Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to AM News and Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. The National Assembly has raised a fresh concern over declining budgetary allocation to Nigeria's agricultural sector, warning that the funding cost could undermine food security and economic recovery. The alarm was sounded during a joint session of Senate and House Committee on Agricultural Production, Service and Rural Development, where the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security defended its 2026 budget proposal. Aniete Patrick completes the story.
Presenting the proposal, Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Aliyu Abdullahi, said government interventions are anchored on President Bola Tinubu's Food Security Emergency Declaration, with efforts focused on expanding production, strengthening value chains, and improving farmer resilience. However, he admitted that delayed capital releases under the 2025 budget have slowed program execution. About 30% of the ministry's capital allocation, roughly 18 billion naira, is yet to be released, limiting support for farmers nationwide.
If you ask me if we are satisfied with what we have, because it's a rollover, otherwise we have some very good projects we have started, which we would have loved to have funding for. And I believe the rollover is now a constraint for us because we will not be able to have additional funds for those.
Meanwhile, for 2026, the agricultural sector is projected to receive about 1 trillion naira, with 262 billion naira earmarked for capital expenditure within the ministry. Despite this, lawmakers expressed concern over what they describe as a sharp drop in overall allocation to the sector. Chairman of the House Committee on Agricultural Production, Bello Kaoje, noted that while total national expenditure is expected to rise to 58.47 trillion naira in 2026, agriculture's allocation declined from 2.22 trillion naira in 2025 to 1.45 trillion naira. Similarly, Senate Committee Chairman Senator Saliu Mustafa stressed that agriculture remains Nigeria's strongest pathway to poverty reduction and job creation, urging timely release of funds to stabilize the nation's food system.
I therefore recommend that the federal government should prioritize adequate budgetary allocation and prompt release of agricultural and sector funds, alongside strengthening implementation mechanism.
Lawmakers say the 2026 budget must be evidence-based, performance-driven, and aligned with national priorities to ensure improved food supply, farmer livelihoods, and sustainable economic growth. From the National Assembly, Aniete Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
The Senate has expressed a fresh concern over the persistent wave of terrorist attack across the country, describing the nation's security situation as troubling. The alarm was raised during the 2026 Budget Defense and 2025 Performance Review of the Ministry of Defense. National Assembly correspondent Aniete Patrick reports. Governor
Lawmakers at the National Assembly pressed the Ministry of Defense for answers as insecurity continues to challenge several parts of the country. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Defense, Ahmed Lawan, said the budget defense was taking place at a difficult moment for Nigerians grappling with renewed attacks and loss of lives. The former president of the Senate described the security situation as worrisome and stressed the need for intensified efforts to curb terrorism and restore public confidence.
Our reality in the last 50 years has been that of battling terrorists and insurgents that have succeeded in carrying out kidnappings, mass abductions of communities and students, massacres, arson, and so on and so forth.
Responding, the Minister of Defense, Major General Christopher Musa, retired, acknowledged the ongoing security threats but assured the committee that military operations across the country remain active and strategic. He told lawmakers that troops are recording gains in various theaters of operation and reaffirmed the armed forces' commitment to defending Nigeria's territorial integrity and safeguarding citizens. From the public session, the committee moved into a closed-door meeting to deliberate on sensitive operational matters, project implementation and budgetary details presented by the ministry. The outcome of the deliberations is expected to shape defense funding priorities for the 2026 fiscal year. From the National Assembly, Anieti Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
Governor Hyacinth Alia has condemned the killing of 22 persons, including a police officer, in renewed attacks on Anwase and Abade communities in Kwandi local government area of Benue State. The governor, who led heads of security agencies on an on-the-spot assessment of the affected area, has pledged improved security deployment and infrastructure to curb further violence. Felicity Ndere reports.
These are some of the deserted communities in Kwandi local government area following the recent attacks by unknown gunmen suspected to be armed Fulani herders.
What you're seeing now is the resurfacing of the attacks, and this is why I have to be here myself to encourage people to strengthen them.
Governor Hyacinth Alia, while condemning the attacks, described them as unprovoked and unacceptable, and assured residents of strengthened collaboration with security agencies and the provision of necessary logistics to restore peace in the affected communities.
Road work from Jatoka, Nihimba, Tomotan, and 2 other settlements by the road before Anwase are treated. So we'll take care of that, and there's no network here. Again, it's one immediate work I need to be on top of to ensure that they have very good network.
The Deputy Commissioner of Police Operations, Benue State Command, said communities in Benue State have endured years of repeated attacks by armed men, resulting in numerous deaths and the displacement of thousands.
The community made mention that at the Cameroon boundary, very close to Jukun area of Taraba, there is an exit and the entry point of these armed herders. So if we can deploy the military to secure those areas, I think they will not be able to penetrate these axis.
Residents and local authorities have called for increased security presence to prevent further attacks.
We can't have bandits in the forest who will come out, kill people at will, freely, and then go back and live in those forests and then nothing is happening. So I also urge the federal government to liaise with the state government so that we can bring succor to these people.
So the in-law now sent a message that they should tell his in-law to do away with his sister, because there will be a serious attack to Abande. So we now prepare that, let them come. But on the market day, everybody was not stable, so we all went to the market and they now came.
Why I say so is that anytime we are to experience an attack, the security here will have one excuse or the other that will make them not to be present, and immediately they are absent, they will experience an attack.
Benue State, known as the food basket of the nation, plays a critical role in Nigeria's food security framework. Residents fear that continued attacks could disrupt farming activities, drive up food prices, and threaten the safety in their ancestral homes. In Kwandi, Felicity Ndere reporting for Global Television News.
The federal government has called on traditional and religious leaders across Nigeria to play a critical role in improving healthcare delivery nationwide. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pate, made the call during a press briefing ahead of the National Traditional Religious Leaders Summit on Health 2026 in Abuja. Zarau Nasir has details.
The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Fateh, says traditional and religious leaders are key influences in their communities especially when it comes to maternal and child health. He explained that the summit aims to sensitize Nigerians and strengthen collaboration with community gatekeepers.
Traditional and religious leaders are so vital in our country that we also have to engage them as a group for the roles that they have played in immunization, in maternal and child health and other areas, TB, HIV, but they can also do more. But they also will be able to bring the perspectives of their citizens, of the people in the areas where they are, so that they can further help us refine our ideas.
Professor Fati added that the summit will also feature discussions on a policy dialogue on Nigeria and the United States memorandum supporting national response to HIV, tuberculosis and malaria.
We will use the opportunity also to have a structured dialogue on the Nigeria-US MOU for supporting HIV, TB and malaria. So the briefing, of course, is to share with you some of what we will also share, whether it's on the Health Fellows Program or on the US Nigeria MOU.
The ministry says engaging these influential community figures is a strategic move to bring healthcare closer to the people and ensure more effective health interventions nationwide. Zahra Unasir, reporting for Global TV.
Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare and the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President of Women's Health have begun plans to coordinate interventions to address challenges affecting Nigerian women. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Women's Health, Dr. Adanma Stenaka, disclosed this during a meeting with a coalition of women leaders, representatives of women's groups and non-governmental organizations in Abuja. She said her office is adopting a nationwide approach to ensure that women's health is prioritized in national development. Federal government has directed the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control to suspend all enforcement actions relating to the proposed ban on sachet alcohol and 200-milliliter PET bottle alcoholic products. The government also warned the agency to immediately stop sealing factories and warehouses over the issue. The directive was contained in a statement issued on Wednesday in Abuja by the Special Advisor on Public Affairs to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Terence Kunau. Troops of the 12th Brigade Nigerian Army have recorded a major operational success under Operation Igbo Idanu 1, clearing a key terrorist camp in Kogi State and recovering arms and ammunition. In a statement posted on its official X account, the Army said the operation dealt a decisive strategic blow to a notorious terrorist network linked to Kachala Ibrahim and Shuaibo. The Army said the troops advanced through dense forests, difficult terrain, and multiple riverine obstacles, disclosing exceptional resilience, professionalism, and tactical discipline despite severe movement constraints caused by falling trees and marshy grounds. You're watching the live broadcast of AM News on Global Television. AM News returns after this break, plus business, foreign, and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
You're welcome. We're expecting a noticeable rise in daytime temperatures across the country, bringing generally warmer conditions, particularly over the northern region. As this heat builds, it's likely to trigger more active weather, with storm development expected over parts of the southern cities. Moving into Thursday morning, thunderstorms are anticipated over parts of Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Delta, some parts of Rivers, Ondo, Lagos, Ogun, and Imo states. As we head into the afternoon and evening hours, storm activities is expected to intensify to affect most areas across the southeast, extending into Ondo, Osun, some parts of Ekiti, Ogun, Lagos, Edo Delta, and the coastal belt. There are also chances of thunderstorms over parts of Kogi, Nasarawa, Benue, the Federal Capital Territory, some parts of Kwara, and the Mambila Plateau in Taraba State. Residents in affected areas are advised to stay weather aware and be safe. Thank you for watching.
Welcome back. Now let's take you to the world of business, where the Central Bank of Nigeria has introduced a new foreign exchange policy permitting licensed Bureau of the Change, that is BDC operators, to purchase United States dollars directly from the Nigerian foreign exchange market, setting a weekly purchase limit of $150,000 per operator. The move, the Central Bank of Nigeria said, it's part of the Apex Bank's broader strategy to improve dollar liquidity in the retail segment of the market and ensure that individuals and small businesses with legitimate foreign exchange needs have better access to funds. In a circular signed by the Director of the Trade and Exchange Department, Dr. Musa Nakoji, the CBN said all properties licensed BDCs are now eligible to source foreign currency from any authorized dealer bank at prevailing market rates. Dangote Petroleum Refinery has reduced the gantry price of premium motor spirit by 25 naira per litre, lowering its ex-depot rate from 799 naira to 774 naira per litre. The refinery communicated the price adjustment to marketers, confirming that the new rate takes immediate effect nationwide. The refinery had explained that the adjustment followed the conclusion of a temporary festive price support intervention introduced to cushion the impact of the biting economy during the Yuletide period, characterized by heightened household spending. And now on the foreign scene, South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa has inaugurated the Nelson Mandela Rules Training Academy for prison officials, marking the 36th anniversary of Nelson Mandela's release from prison. Zarau Nasir has the details.
The academy was unveiled at the Dreskenton Correctional Facility in the Western Cape, formerly Victor Besta Prison, the last place Nelson Mandela was held before gaining his freedom. President Ramaphosa described the launch as a powerful affirmation of Mandela's enduring values of dignity, justice, and human rights. The Nelson Mandela Rules Training Academy is the first institution of its kind in Africa dedicated solely to the United Nations Standard Minimum Rules for the treatment of prisoners, widely known as the Nelson Mandela Rules. According to the South African leader, the academy will equip correctional officials with the knowledge and skills required to uphold human prison standards. He added that it will also promote education, vocational training, and rehabilitation programs for inmates, preparing them for reintegration into society.
I'm told that this is the first such facility of its kind on the African continent, so it will serve as a knowledge hub for our region here, SADC, not only for our South African officials, but also for the global correctional community.
President Ramaphosa further noted that the initiative is being implemented in partnership with the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, custodian of the Nelson Mandela Rules, to ensure that correctional policies and practices remain firmly rooted in the values Madiba stood for. Zahra Unasir, reporting for Global TV.
The United States will deploy 200 troops to Nigeria to train its armed forces in their fight against jihadist groups. Nigeria and U.S. officials made it known to newsmen as Washington increases military cooperation with the West African countries. The force deployment, which will supplement a U.S. small team already in the country to aid the Nigerian with airstrike targeting the international additional troops expected to arrive in the coming weeks. will provide training and technical guidance, including by helping their Nigerian counterparts coordinate operations that involve airstrike and ground troops simultaneously, the U.S. daily. The Chairman, National Sport Commission, Shehu Diko, has inaugurated a 28-member local organizing committee for the second edition of the African Youth Games scheduled for Abuja in 2027, with the clear mandate to organize the best ever staged youth games on the continent. Samuel Odi has the detail.
The chairman of the National Sports Commission, Shehu Diko, while inaugurating the 28-member local organizing committee in Abuja, charged members of the committee to deliver what it described as the best African Youth Games ever staged on the continent. He assured the committee of the commission's full backing and reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to hosting a game that meets international standards.
For Nigeria, hosting these games is a statement. It says that we believe in grassroots sports. It says that we believe in education, and sport must work hand in hand with education. And it says that we are ready to play our role in shaping the next generation of African leaders, whether in sports or beyond.
Also speaking, Director General of the National Sports Commission, Bukola Olopade, said hosting the 2027 African Youth Games aligns with the Commission's Renewed Hope initiative for Nigerian sports ecosystem, which places strong emphasis on sports production and youth development.
It pushes the agenda of saying that we must be a manufacturing, producing country in sports rather than a consuming one. And this competition will go that far to showcase that.
Chairman of the newly inaugurated local organizing committee, Lekon Abiri, commended the leadership of the commission for ongoing reforms in the sports sector. He pledged that the committee would work with dedication, transparency, and professionalism to deliver a historic and a memorable game. Samuel Odi for Global Television News.
And now let's take you to the weather spot, where the Nigerian Shooting Sport Federation has begun a strategic partnership drive with key security institutions in a bid to promote responsible gun ownership and strengthen arms control measures in the country. The President, Nigerian Shooting Sport Federation, Commodore Shetima Mohammed, led a high-level delegation of board members on courtesy visit to the Chief of Naval Staff and the Director General of the National Commission for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons in Abuja. Aniete Patrick completes the story.
At the Naval Headquarters, the delegation met with the Chief of Naval Administration, Rear Admiral Jonathan Maman, who represented the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Idi Abbas. Commodore Shetima outlined the Federation's vision of enhancing marksmanship, promoting responsible firearms use, and creating structured opportunities for retired military weapons instructors as certified coaches, referees, and technical officials in shooting sports.
You know, shooting, like I always say, appears a bit alien to the general public. And if we want to make it common, we have to start with those whose natural habitat includes shooting. And that's the military and the paramilitary. And by the time we're able to bring them on board, we feel that it will cascade down to the open public.
The Nigerian Navy pledged support for mutually beneficial collaboration, including sponsorship of zonal and national shooting tournaments, as well as professional exchange of ideas.
So thank you for that. You're opening up new zones for our men, and even those that are good can go as far as representing the nation. There's this joke about Nigeria having so many water and rivers, and we have Ijos, but we never come up in Olympics.
The delegation later visited the National Commission for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons under the Office of the National Security Advisor. There, the NSSF president emphasized ongoing reforms within the Federation, including constitutional review and efforts to harmonize shooting and hunting activities under a unified regulatory framework.
We represent Nigeria in all shooting sports activities globally. We train Nigerians in shooting activities.
Responding, the Commission's Director General, Retired Deputy Inspector General of Police Johnson Kokumo described the visit as timely. He reaffirmed the Commission's mandate to combat illicit arms proliferation in line with Nigeria's commitments under the ECOWAS Convention and pledged collaboration with the Federation.
Will retrieve illicit arms intercepted by various arms-bearing agencies of government. We don't retrieve them for keeps. The ECOWAS Convention is very clear. Destruction of such illicit weapons.
The partnership drive comes amid renewed national conversations around arms control and public safety. Anieti Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
That's it on the AM News. But before we go, a quick reminder: the Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thanks for watching.